program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Sports. My name is Leo Connors and I'm your host, and today I got two guests. I got my special guest co-host, Ryan Privitera.
How are you?
And our special guest, Uncle Eddie from APWU and other federations. Ed?
Hey, Leo.
Thank you very much.
Brian, good to see you.
Good to see you,
Ryan,
Ed.
good to see you, bud.
Leo, thank you.
Listen, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it.
All right. Sounds good.
Where did you grow up at?
I grew up down in Salisbury Beach, Massachusetts.
Nice. My dad used to own a house down there for a couple of years. He flipped
Did he
it.
really?
Yeah, he flipped it, doubled his money, and he wishes he did it a lot earlier.
Yeah, I don't like the flips that much, but
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, he did. He made some money. But did you play sports as a kid?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was the '60s, late '60s and '70s. You know, all the outdoor stuff. Playing sports all the time. Organized sports, yeah. As I got going, you know, baseball and football a little bit. I played them all. You know, I played them all, but basically we're outside and playing as kids. You know, the only thing, but I was no great athlete. The only thing I know that I can do is hit a baseball. Other than that, I just got by on guile.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Though, kids today nowadays are hardly outside at all. I liked how you said that we were
Right,
all
right.
outside. You always knew where your friends were by seeing where everybody's bike was.
Exactly.
Nowadays you can text them and all. It's crazy.
In the summer, you left the house at 8 in the morning, came back at dinner time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how it was.
That's how it was when I was a kid.
Exactly.
What about in high school? Did you play baseball in high school or anything?
I did. I did track in high school.
Oh, nice.
I did a shot put. I wrestled in high school. I played football, and I played golf.
Oh, nice.
So I mixed it up a little.
A friend of mine, real quick, plays in the Lowell City Golf Tournament there every
Yeah,
year. You
yeah.
ever played in that?
I have not. No.
And he won it one year. Kid, I graduated from high school.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oh, that's good.
How old were you when you first saw professional wrestling?
I would guess 6 years old, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Who was it? Do you remember who you first saw?
The first guy. I don't remember the first exact. I remember the first guy that caught my attention,
Yep.
and it was Professor Tanaka.
Yep.
And him and Fuji.
Right.
And from then on, I've always liked the heels because I like. As I said, I was no great athlete. You had to get by outthinking people, and that's what the heels did.
Yes.
And they may not have been the nicest guys in the world on TV, but they were the guys that figured out how to get it done. And I always liked the heels because of that. And Fuji and Tanaka were everything.
They
as
use
a
their
young
head.
kid.
They use their head a lot. Yeah.
And you're like me then. Obviously, I started watching in 1972.
Yep.
So right around that era,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Haystacks, Calhoun,
Yeah.
all those guys.
Right. Yep.
Were your friends into it too, like your buddies that you hung around with?
Yeah. Probably half of them.
Yeah.
Half of them were into it, yeah.
So you guys went to shows. Did you go into independent shows or anything like that? Did you know about
I didn't know about
wrestling?
independent shows then. See, I was lucky.
Right.
We grew up on the beach and at the Frolics in, I think, 72, 71, 72.
Frolics,
They started running shows with WWF stars, you know, and they defended the belts down there and whatnot. And they ran like twice a month, and then they went to like weekly after that. And Angelo
That's great.
Savoldi was promoting down there.
I remember hearing about that place, the Frolics.
Yeah,
Heard a
yeah.
lot of stories from family, you know?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. My older sisters, I got an older sister 10 years older than me, and she used to go there when she was like 18, because that was the drinking age, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad owned the house down there then, and
Yeah.
she'd come home, freaking lit. My dad would be going, man.
At least she came home.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in pro wrestling?
Well, it was an interesting story. It was then, in 1974, I believe, because I had been going to the shows for a year or so. I get down around there, and I just, a friend of mine who was a few years older than me was setting up rings for the Savoldis down there. So he said, hey, you want to get into the shows for free? Help set up the rings.
There you go.
So basically, I just got in and started setting the rings up. And if you know me, once I get involved in something, I start like picking my spot and finding out where I can be and whatnot. And that's what I did. I started that a long time ago.
couple other guys that have been on the show have told me that too. That's how they started. Like
Yeah.
Dave Padula, Mark Bogie, who's one of the owners of Chaotic Wrestling.
Yeah.
Showing up to shows early and just kind of like sneaking in and
Yeah.
talking to people.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
funny. He was finishing a drink, and they called, "Hey, Mark," but they were talking to the Mighty Mini.
Oh, yeah.
So then afterwards, it,
Yeah.
it became Adult Mark.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
his nickname,
Yeah.
Adult. Yeah, Mark's a great guy. What's up, Mark? Tell us about your debut in wrestling.
Well, when I first worked, I just went there and I shut up and I did my thing. And then as the guys got to know me, you know, I started migrating to the guys and talking to them. And then I'd be the gopher guy, you know, and I'd be running and getting stuff for Speros Arion. You know, I'd be grabbing stuff for Miguel Cicluna and George Steele. And those are the three guys that I really liked down there. And I had some run-ins with guys because I was a mouthy little kid. I was a beach kid.
Really?
So, I was a beach kid that loved the heels.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, I had issues with some of the babies down there because Davey O'Hannon, I didn't realize how big he was. It's his birthday today, Davies.
Wow. Happy birthday, Davey.
And I had a little trouble with Davey down there. Yeah, I did. And
He was a big guy.
oh my God, I didn't realize it. When I look back on it, but I was 10 years old or something, and I wasn't afraid of Davey O'Hannon. I was friends with Miguel Cicluna.
Yeah.
What the hell did-
Speros area.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
How
Right.
often would they come in? Like, how often would you go down there and do this? Or
It was every 2 weeks, and then it moved to every week, like a couple years later. I was there for like 3 or 4 years.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, this is obviously way before the territory. It was all territory, so they would run the same places weekly.
Yeah.
Because they only really were in the Northeast.
Right,
WWF.
exactly.
But Speros Arion, he was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Broke my heart when he turned.
No, I
know?
told him. I said Strongbow's no good. I said he's not an Indian. He's an Italian. Don't trust the guy, just like the rest of those Italians.
Yeah, and I also been hearing that he. And,
That one hurt. That one,
because I love Chief J. Then I found out he was an ass.
He was no good.
I heard
I'm
he
the
was
guy
not a very
I'm
nice
the guy
guy.
that put Arion onto him. I said he's no good. Get rid of him.
See,
Wow.
See that, guys? All
There you go.
I learned something.
You heard it
right
first.
there.
Yeah.
So I know lately, the last few years you've been working steadily, obviously with APW.
Yeah.
And what other companies have you worked for?
Well, I worked for VCW too a little bit when we did an angle with them where there was a takeover thing and a mix-up thing like that. But mostly I was worked for the WWF until in the 70s, and then I took some time off because I had a little issue. There was a issue with we were down there, and like I said, I was running around, and I was there for a while, and there was an issue with actually it was with Arnold Skoland.
Oh, wow.
And Skoland tried to change the finish. He wanted Mario Mancini, who was a jobber, to go over on Arion. And I said, wait a second, you're not doing that. So I grabbed him. I grabbed the Golden Boy.
Wow.
And I just said, look, my guy's not doing a job for Mario Mancini. And then I get a call, and Savoldi comes up to me. Mario did. And Mario says, you can't talk to the talent like that. I said, talent? I've been here 3 years. I'm the talent here. This guy's just showed up. Yeah. So that's how that went down.
Yeah.
And then Angelo loved me.
Right.
So what happens is I get a call from New York, old Vince, and I said, look. I said, he's down here, Skoland's down here trying to run my locker room, and it was no good. I said, it's going to be either him or me, either Skoland or me. And then at that point, I took 35 years off.
I was going to say, they made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
They did.
They
Yeah.
made the wrong choice.
They definitely did.
Because
Yeah.
if there was a Golden Boy down there, it was me.
Right on.
Not him.
I hear you. Especially
Wow.
local Golden Boy,
Exactly.
too.
They made
That's
a
your town,
Big,
not his.
big mistake.
I want to ask you a question, Ed, real quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you jump right in.
If you look back on that, do you regret making that decision, or were you just dead set on saying no, this is how it's going to be, or
No, because even as a young kid, you don't give up your values.
right?
I knew it was the wrong move. I knew it was the wrong move. Mario Mancini is a sweet guy, but he has no business beating Speros Arion anywhere. Anywhere. They
enough.
run their wheelchairs together today, and Arion will kick the crap out of Mancini.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Right, keep going, though. Seriously, that's what you're here for. You know what I mean?
No, I was just curious. I mean, I've never heard that story.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Right. And you were also saying something you wanted to bring up about APW in their arena.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I know you guys were doing the APW, the fire hall.
In Newbury, yeah.
Yep, consistently. And I was thinking on the way up here, besides APW, I think Chaotic Wrestling was probably the only place that they did the PAL hall in Lowell.
PAV.
Right.
PAV?
Yeah.
Okay.
PAV, yep.
All right.
My hometown.
Sorry about that. But, you guys were one of the only real consistent companies. Selling out, you had a following.
Yeah.
And I can't really think of any other place that's done that. I mean, you guys sold that building out every month or however long you ran.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was consistent, and that's
Yeah.
something to be proud of. That's really cool, I think.
It is, yeah. And 2011 is when APW started, and some friends of mine were involved in it, and they asked me to come in and be the commissioner, and eventually I did broadcasting there.
Yep.
But we did it the old-fashioned way. We told stories.
Right.
We gave the people what they wanted to see.
Right.
People wanted to see stories. They didn't want to see stuff.
Right.
So, and it was tough. It was tough at first at APW because we would get going and a lot of people didn't know us. So it was hard to get workers in there, to get wrestlers in there. But because we had guys like Luis Ortiz, Larry Huntley, and Freight Train Dan, that right there gave us enough cachet to say, okay, because you could ask anybody that worked in this area, hey, you can come in, and they'll go, well, we don't know you guys, but you can work Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Exactly.
Right.
Simple as that.
Exactly.
And then once they got there, we've always stressed a good locker room, no BS in our locker room. We understand, like I said, I came from athletic background with teams and stuff, never the star or anything. But what you have to do is you have to realize that it's a team thing. Your locker room is.
Right.
I was never on a team in my life, in any sport, where I liked everybody on that team. Where every one of those guys was my kind of guy.
Right, exactly.
Never. But if you can't put that crap aside for 3 hours, then we don't want you. And we had people in there who were good wrestlers. I don't know if they could sell tickets, but they were good wrestlers that just didn't fit. And out they went.
Yeah.
One time, gone.
Right.
Simply because you cannot take that and put a cancer in there. You can take it in there. You can have this guy not like that guy, and you say, hey, guys, we don't have any heat here with anybody. We brought some guys in with bad reputations, supposedly. But we judged people as they were for us.
We talked about that.
People said to us, don't bring in Stiff Mike. He's an ass.
Right.
He is an ass, but he's our ass.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And Stiff Mike's done a great job for us. He's done whatever we wanted.
Right.
And he's been an integral part of APW. And this is coming from people saying he's a jerk. Everybody can be a jerk.
Really
absolutely.
quickly, Mike, you are a jerk, just so you know.
He absolutely is a jerk.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
He came on here and said that he's matured. Is that true?
Well, he's old. Well, the definition of mature could mean older. Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
by that definition, yes, he has
Right.
matured.
But no, Mike's a great guy. Like you said, though, he did have a reputation. I'm not in the wrestling.
I don't know if it was
business, I'm
earned or not,
around
'cause
it,
I don't
but
care.
He had a reputation.
I don't care.
Right.
You guys too.
No, that's great.
You guys have a handful of people. I'm not going to rattle off names. There's too many. You guys have APW had people that grew. So they started with APW when you guys started, and they got their own following.
They did.
People were coming to see them,
Right.
Because they could only see them there,
Right.
Whether they were just choosing to be loyal or they, just didn't want to travel anywhere else,
Right.
But all your guys built their characters at APW.
They did. A lot of guys, and other promoters that I've seen him said, we can't do anything with this guy. And they love him because you throw him out there and have a match. And we build a story. We have him go out and give birthday presents to kids, and people get to know him up close.
Right.
They get to meet the guy and see him up close.
Right.
And when you can do that, you can sell the guy.
Yep.
I am not a guy that likes to plug people in. When I was commissioner, I didn't say, hey, let's just throw these two guys out to have a match and go away. That's cool because I understand, the philosophy of it. I talked to Brian Malonis about it, and Brian says, you know what, it's possible that two guys are wrestling just because it's a match and they can win. I said, I totally understand that. I get that. And every match on your card can't be storylined. But that's what our fans liked.
Right.
And our fans, as Brian said, like the APW guys. But because of that, and we got the following, we were lucky enough to get in guys like Tommaso Ciampa. He came in. We had John Walters in there, RJ Brewer. This is a little tiny company whose building holds 250. That's it. And we had Warbeard Hansen come in. We had these guys come in, these guys that are in the top 25 wrestlers in the world in our building, in our little building. And
Not that APW wasn't credible without them, but it helps.
it helped.
You know what I mean?
No, the credibility allowed us to get them there.
Right.
Because it wouldn't have happened any other way.
Right.
Well,
And I take most of the credit for that.
Yeah.
There you go. You should. As you should.
I was the commissioner at the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
So as
Yeah.
should.
You were behind the scenes. Yeah.
So why don't we segue right into the name game?
Sounds good to me. All right, Ed, we're going to go right into it. How about Big Woody?
Big Woody is the guy that asked me to join APW. He's been a friend of mine since I was like 10, and then by the time I was 12, I couldn't stand the fat bastard. But he's got this lovable quality about him that goes with the sarcasm and the girth. You know, there's lovability there, but obviously not as big as the girth.
I want to ask you one more quick question while we're on Big Woody. Were you around back then for the Pavilion days, the wrestling, Star Wars? Were you ever around there?
I was around as a fan. I didn't do anything there.
Okay.
Other than like hand out flyers and whatnot down there. But I was not. I brought my kids. My kids were young, and their friends. I brought them to see the shows.
Yep. Every Saturday night was great.
It was. I didn't go every Saturday.
Did anybody ever slam Big Woody?
No.
Because that was where he was doing that, right?
No, nobody ever slammed him.
I thought it was Brian Day, but I don't think.
Brian Day claimed to slam him, but it was a Beal. You familiar with wrestling maneuvers?
Oh, yeah.
It was a Beal.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. How about Derek Mitchell?
Derek Mitchell. Derek Mitchell was a production guy that I met at APW, and he's a solid guy. But Show Derek is not. Show Derek's an ass. He's worse than Woody. You know, he is the biggest jerk in the locker room. He's the biggest jerk in production because he yells. He was the guy yelling in my ear while I was trying to broadcast. And you know what? If he was any good at anything, he wouldn't have been behind the curtain. He'd have been out front. Just like these wrestlers, they come out, they get 6 to 8 minutes. I'm out there for 2.5 hours. If they could do what I could do, they would be out there for 2.5 hours, not 6 to 8.
Right.
Come on, let's be serious. Why would a company put somebody out there for 6 minutes if they could do a job for 2.5 hours?
Right.
The bottom line is, I was the most talented guy there. Derek Mitchell taped down, he got wires and he taped them down. And then he got microphones and he taped them together.
Yeah.
And then he plugged a few things in. That's what Derek Mitchell did.
Yep.
Did he do it well, though?
I don't know. I don't know.
It always worked, at least, right?
Always. Don't ever say always. In independent wrestling. Independent wrestling, you say always.
Right.
Are you and Derek still close to this day?
Not that close. I mean, I talked to him here and there.
Yep.
I was never really close to him because he's not a guy that I'm really close to. I got a story that involves Mr. Privitera, the first time I ever met him.
All right.
I'm going to tell this. I was working a VCW show. Derek Mitchell was there.
Springville, Maine.
Springville, Maine is where I met you.
Yep.
Actually, but there was another time where we had our first interaction.
Okay.
This story may not put Brian in the greatest light.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
So he put himself in bad light on the last appearance.
I can take it.
He wants to wear pink and wear my man bun. You know, he's going to take some stuff. So we go there, and Brian comes and would do his starting the VCW thing, and I just decided to go. And I was just sitting with Derek, and Sean Feeney was there, and Sean Feeney can't do music because he's a moron. And all right, who's wrestling? Okay, hit the button that says his name on it. Sean Feeney could not do that. So Jay Rumble says, Eddie, I know you're here. Can you do that? I said, yeah, I'll do that. No problem. I can click a button with a name on it 24 times.
Right.
I can handle that.
Seems easy.
So this guy that I never met before, or I'd met him but didn't know him, showed up with a man bun and some pink stuff on. And he says, I want my music loud all the way to the ring. I said, okay, you got it. And he left. I said, who's this ass? And then right before he's out, he's in Gorilla, he comes back out, he goes, did you hear me? I want my music loud all the way to the ring. I said, okay, you got it, sir. The curtain opens, and it's Robert Palmer.
Yep.
The lights are, and then it died. The music died. And the big mouth guy walked out there with no music at all.
Wait, was that on purpose?
We had technical issues.
Oh, jeez.
The guy that's pushing the buttons.
Yeah, I should have seen that one.
You don't yell at the guy pushing the buttons.
I
You never
should have
who that
seen
guy
that one
is.
coming.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's all right, yeah. So that was probably 5 years ago, and
Right?
I never claimed to be easy. to get
I
along
won't
with.
forget it. And I'm sure you're having a bad night somewhere, but there's no excuse to treat somebody like that. I treat everybody like that, and I don't have an excuse. I just like to do it.
Right.
Well, I do apologize.
It's all right. I don't lose sleep.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah.
We were even the minute I cut your music.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah,
We were even that second.
this is true. This is true. All right, moving right along.
Yes.
Joe Moakley.
Joe Moakley's a jerk. He's a loudmouth. He's kind of a one-hit wonder, Joe Moakley. He got these guys together, the glamorous ones, and he had Danny Miles and Mikey Pava, and they were really, really, really popular as heels. And then Moakley had to get involved, and then he brought in Buddy Romano and gave him a nice jacket, some mink thing, and they look like Gloria Vanderbilt and Liz Taylor walking around out there.
That was a very talented stable.
But it was a talented stable,
Right.
and they did a great job, and I can't say enough about Danny and Mikey for starting that. And Joe Moakley was just along for the ride.
Yep.
He's a jerk. He's an ass.
Does Joe Moakley talk? I've never heard him talk.
He talks, yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't say anything worthwhile, but he'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. I've never heard him talk. I met him once,
Well,
and that was
you're
it.
lucky.
I've never met him, so I guess I'm lucky.
You are, yeah.
Met him once. Luis Ortiz. Yeah.
Luis Ortiz is all right. The guy's okay. He's the one guy that ever came into our locker room that I wouldn't slap in the face if he gave me crap.
Yep.
Because those Puerto Ricans, they're tough.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You know, I grew up with a lot of them down Salisbury Beach, and Luis is a tough guy, but, you know, I'm going to break character for a second because Uncle Eddie's a jerk, but I'll tell you that guy, he's my mom's favorite wrestler. When you asked me about the beach,
Yep.
my mom had a fried clam stand diagonally across from the pavilion. And
Is that where the Kontiki was? Remember the Kontiki?
yeah, this was down for across from the 5 o'clock club.
Okay,
It was
yeah,
on the
okay,
corner
yeah.
of Joe's Playland.
Okay, got you.
So you walked out, and that's where and he parked across the street, and he had a young daughter with him. Yeah, a young daughter with him. And he came out, and she says, "Did you go to the wrestling last night?" I go, "Yeah." She said, "Well, there was this guy there. He was very, very strange-looking guy. He had all this because it was Latin Fury at the time. He
Yep.
said he had all these hair coming out in spots like this. He's wild. His eyes look wild. He was a crazy-looking guy. He came over, and he was the nicest guy I ever met. Said, "Ma'am, is it okay if I could park here?" And she said, "You know, it's funny because you can misjudge somebody. You look at the guy, and he looks like he's out of a gang movie.
Right.
And then he comes over, and she said he's the nicest guy ever. So I didn't know Louis at the time, but when we ran APW, I told Louis that story, and he said, yeah. And Louis is a family man, right down to his heart. And terrible, terrible injury that he just had with his Achilles, and he's not going to be wrestling anymore. But we have a school, and he's working at the school, and he's going to be training guys, and he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's a solid guy.
I was doing my homework on EPW past couple days. You guys have a seminar with him coming up, right? At the school?
We had a seminar a couple weeks ago. I'm not that involved in the school because Moakley's involved in
I
that.
thought I saw something else coming up in
He
July.
has training sessions coming up. I don't know. I wish I could talk about that, but I don't know much about it other than that's where guys are training, and he's there.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong with being trained by him.
Absolutely
so much
not.
experience. Like
Yeah.
you said, great guy.
Yep, that's awesome. Todd Sopel.
Controversial guy. I'm
He is,
sure
yeah.
when you brought up about bringing guys in the locker room that had
Yeah.
a reputation.
Todd Sopel's the only guy I can trust, but he had this injury. Him and Buddy Romano both suffered the same injury to their hands, that whenever they get anywhere near a keyboard, it types the most crazy crap. It's a very, very rare thing.
Right.
You know, the guy had it in Dr. Strangelove. Remember, he tried to kill himself and he just stopped his hand. Well, they don't have the ability to stop that hand from typing.
Yep.
And both decent guys, but you keep them away from keyboards.
Yeah.
I like them. You get a keyboard anywhere near those two, forget about it. But Sopel was our champ right off. He beat Johnny Cromwell, who was an outstanding, outstanding talent, and then went to law school and threw away all these $20 paydays to be a lawyer.
Yep.
What a fool.
What an idiot.
What a fool.
Yeah.
And, oh well. So Sopel beat him, and he was our first champ for a while, and he carried it. And a lot of people, like I say, there's another perfect example. A lot of people say a lot of things about Todd Sopel. Todd Sopel has done whatever APW wanted him to do.
Nice.
Yep.
Forever. He's a jerk. He's got a high-pitched voice that really annoys you. It's a shrill that I don't like.
I'll say this about Todd Sopel. He believes in himself.
Yep.
And he just doesn't care.
I hear
That
he cuts
helps
good
him
meat.
too.
So-
that helps him so much.
He does believe in himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
I think he's a really great worker. I
Yeah.
do.
He's
I
a very,
think
very good wrestler.
He's an
He is.
awesome heel.
Way better
People
than
love
as a
to
typist.
hate him.
Shitty, crappy typist.
Right.
Good
Yeah, he's
wrestler.
coming up again. He's going to be on the show again
Oh, that'll
soon.
be good.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to air that one, Leo?
Yes, I
Okay.
will. And he asked me not to mention things like that again.
Okay.
So we'll leave that alone.
Because I was going to say,
Here you go, Todd.
yeah, I think you got like that. Todd Sopel, a couple of those episodes are in the vault.
Yeah.
The Ring and All the Sports Vault.
Yes,
Okay.
I actually have it at my house.
Okay.
I have it. All right, I'm going to go on this. Now, how about the Kingpin, Brian Malonis, who just made his debut? Now, he wrestled in the Prospect Tournament for Ring of Honor,
Right.
but I guess now he might be, I think he's a part of their roster now, officially.
Yeah.
And he made his
That's
debut
big.
on TV, which is huge for Brian.
Brian Malonis is the second most recognizable athlete in APW. Brian Malonis is outstanding. Brian
Absolutely.
Malonis Nobody has put us over. Nobody has talked us up any more than Brian Malonis has done on his podcast. He says he was in a bad spot, and he always tells us personally, and he puts it out there for people and says, that's when I knew I could have fun again, when I went there. Right. Currently, Brian Malonis has been a real jerk to me. I don't know why. But
I don't know.
I do know why, because my niece Davienne decided to mess me up in a title match against Mistress Belmont, and then she had to pay the price by my other little niece. And Brian didn't like her taking any crap. And just as I was about to go on Brian's face and show him a thing or two, my watch clicked, and because my trainer's hooked up to my watch,
Yep.
I had to do my cardio. So
Right.
the minute right before I was going to smack him,
Yep.
I had to do my cardio. So I started
Understandable.
running around the ring as fast as I could.
Right.
And eventually, the ring was too confining, so I had to actually go out of the arena.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to do cardio at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have killed me. He got a hold. He would have tried. You got
I'll
to get the
tell
first one in, though. I'm
Right.
an old beach kid.
The best big man in the area.
I was
there's
just about
no
to say
doubt.
that.
And
I
you
mean,
know who's coming
yeah.
up? I will say this: Ace Romero's right behind him, man. Honestly.
Yeah, we've had Ace in a
Wow,
couple
man.
times last
Wow.
year. Outstanding.
Yeah, definitely.
Brian's better looking though. Brian's got the dimples and stuff.
Right.
Brian's happily married to a wonderful woman, but don't let him near your girlfriend because they love those dimples.
Brian is
see, I got
actually
the dimple. My
Brian
girl
has
likes
actually kissed my fiance
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
when I wrestled him.
You get dimples and charm like Brian has.
Yeah, he put me down. I was hurting, and I think he went out into the crowd and, kind of laid one on her.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah. I bet
She
she's
like
still
it?
talking.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'd
You
rather
can
not.
bet that she did.
I'd rather
Yeah,
not know.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, she did, right? How about John Paul?
John Poe, I met at a VCW show. And I had stars in my eyes. I said, he worked Mike McCarthy up in Maine. The match that the time that I first saw him was at that Maine show.
I worked Larry Huntley.
You did, yeah.
Yep.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Well, you smell like the farm after you're done with it. So that's how it works. You come out with a beautiful. This guy comes out with a beautiful German leather thing, smelling like wonderful hide.
Right.
And then
Great.
when he's done, he smells like chicken crap.
It was horrible.
Terrible. But anyways, I saw Poe that night wrestle McCarthy, smashing him around, and I said, "This guy, I got to bring this guy to APW because this guy is the monster heel that we need."
Yep.
So I met.
That was
with
like a
him
dog collar match, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'd have to hate your dog to hit him with that thing.
Yeah.
But those two guys went crazy. And great match. And McCarthy comes up afterwards and says, that guy's a pro. That guy's great. And he was a Bradley guy, second stage Bradley guy. So
Very true.
he came down to be a big heel for us. It was going to be great.
Yep.
Everybody loved him.
Yep.
Everybody loved him. And then his head got big. His head got as big as his muscles, and he became a real jerk and a prima donna. He won the title, and we had a little issue with his sister last year. We can get to that later maybe. But I had a little issue with Mistress Belmont, his sister, and we tried to handle it like women, and he wouldn't have it. Poe had to get involved and almost take my head off, stuff like this. And he's a real jerk. He's no good.
Right.
But, at first I thought he was a good guy.
Right.
But he's not. He's not. He's a big bully and a jerk, and anybody then they cheer him. The same people whose kids go to school and they say, anti-bullying measures are in school now, please don't do this. They cheer a guy who does nothing but bully me.
Wow.
Why? So I hope the John Poe of the middle school gets their kid and clotheslines that kid
Right.
and pretends to blow their nose on the kid and does all this crap. I hope he does it to their kids so they know what real bullying's like and they can feel what I feel. It's not good.
Right.
You seem very hurt.
He's a jerk.
How about the tag team that made its name in APW? The Knuckle Busters.
Yeah, they're outstanding. Really outstanding. Like I said, I've known Big Woody for,
Yep.
45 years or so.
Wow.
And
That's a long
That is
time.
literally the
That's
only
a
thing
long
I've ever
time.
seen him do that worked. That's it. The only thing he ever did, the only idea he ever had in his whole life that worked was the Knuckle Busters. But it worked well.
Yeah.
You got Bare Knuckle Burley in there who showed up the first night wearing a glove on his hand, and I was doing broadcasting. And I was flabbergasted the guy would be called Bare Knuckle and have a glove covering his knuckles. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. And then Bugsy Stone, who was an APW original that trained started training there, and then trained down the road a little. And he had a little Bugsy McGraw in him. Another guy I worked at Salisbury Beach with. He'll get talking with you and just notice a light.
Right.
And he'll look into the light, and that will be it. And he's gone. You can keep talking, and you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Yep.
And but they were outstanding. They were. I can't say talented, but they were entertaining.
Right.
They did their thing. Bugsy was a bull. Bugsy didn't try to hit you with maneuvers. And Burley the same way. Burley would punch you in the face.
Right.
Because you know what? That's the best finishing maneuver of all.
Well, he told me his go-to move was a kick in the balls right here on the
hurt
set.
you.
That was a pretty funny story.
That's not bad.
Bugsy was just backstage at the UFO show.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that, but
Which one was that? Fan Appreciation, right?
no, the last one.
Oh, the last one. Okay,
Yep.
just
the
the
one,
other night.
Yeah, when you were
Oh,
selling
that
your
was
merch.
Fan
Yeah.
Appreciation. I'm sorry. Oh, the one I sold my merchandise
Yep.
at. Yeah, because I seen his head pop out
Yep.
of the curtain.
Yep.
I had
Yep.
never met him.
Yep.
I know he's huge.
We were all talking
big
to him.
guy.
Yeah, it was good to see him.
Yeah.
Great
That's
guy.
awesome. Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
He was going
I hope
through
he
some
comes back
problems.
someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he comes back someday. It'd be nice. I hope he doesn't want to kiss babies and stuff. I hope he wants to come up with his Uncle Eddie, maybe take the DNA test
Yeah.
and find out that he is indeed.
You might need him.
my family.
You might need him with all these bullies you got after you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Things
I'll
aren't
do-
looking good for you.
No, definitely
look-
not.
We'll see.
Let's go to Danny Miles.
Danny Miles is the guy that I handpicked to come back after Poe took my head off. Danny Miles used to be the pretty boy. He used to have paint on his face. He used to wrestle girls for a whole year. Then Danny Miles went to the gym and got serious and became a monster. And Danny Miles is strong. And Danny Miles is an exceptional wrestler.
Yes.
Who's been in the ring with many, many people because of his association with Big Time. Yep. And he said, Uncle Eddie, John Poe's picking on you, I got him. John Poe is twice the height of him.
Yep.
He came in there and he beat the crap out of John Poe. And then out of a match was 11 minutes and 50 seconds, for 11:47 he was in total control of that match.
Yep.
And then the last three didn't work out for Danny. But you know,
I watched that match.
But you know what? If they had scorecards,
Right.
it was way ahead.
You can go on YouTube and you can watch a lot of the Danny Miles big time stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some good matches on there.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
You can
he's-
go on and catch all the APW shows, too.
Yep,
And
exactly.
full length, the whole show.
Yeah, right
yeah,
up
the whole-
through last year. This
Yeah,
year,
that's awesome.
Derek Mitchell left with the production, and we haven't had that, but we're going to try to add that back very shortly. We're going to show clips and whatnot, but the full shows are available for like 3 years or so on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of them I'm calling, so you're going to get top notch.
That's what I
commentary.
want. That's
good
what I want,
entertainment.
entertainment. I want to be entertained, absolutely.
Exactly.
How about well, we got them down as a tag team. Yeah, picture perfect. Dan Terry, Vern Vicala. You can split them up.
Well, Dan Terry is the latest guy to join the First Family. Him
Really?
and Slam Dance Tim Lennox at the last show.
Yes.
Yep.
I was out recruiting, and there was a tag title match. It was these guys, T2, Tenacious 2 or something, Scotty Wild and some guy that used to be a Chinaman. Torres used to be Johnny Torres.
Johnny Torres.
Yeah, he used to be
Concept
Johnny
Johnny
Miyagi,
Torres.
and then he
All right.
decided he was a Mexican instead of
Right.
a Chinaman.
Well,
And he don't even look Mexican.
yeah.
He's neat. I don't know what he is.
I've never
He's
met
a
him.
punk. That's what he is. And,
Yeah.
and I actively seek the guys out, and I said, look, why don't you guys come with me? I'm looking for a tag team. They said no. And Scotty says, I know you get away from me. And Dan and Tim said, yes, we would love to join you. They joined, and they came up a little short in the matchup because I think Tim tried to go a little too far to impress the new unk.
Okay.
And may have made a mistake. But, you know,
Right.
we'll work on that once we get into the compound. But both of those guys are good young guys, you know, and started training at Belltime.
Yep.
Dan now is with Fury.
Yep.
And working there, and Tim has gone outside and got help too with his training, and they're both good young talent, both of them.
They're on their way up for sure.
And Vern, we'll see. We'll see if
Right.
when Vern's coming back.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Vern back shortly. He had the injury.
Yes.
He's coming back shortly. All he's got to do is sign the dotted line, and he's with me. I can't see any problem with that happening.
Nice.
Wow.
That'll never happen.
Both those guys are guests on the show also.
Yep.
Who's that?
Vern and Dan.
Yeah.
Both guys, great workers, young up and coming. At one point, I really thought Vern was one of the hardest working guys. Nothing against Dan. Dan's a hard worker too, but Vern was just getting booked everywhere, and
Yep.
just, you know.
When we first started and we had some guys come in, we had a lot of the guys that are working now were at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy.
Yes.
And they came and they worked to help set up ring and do security and stuff like that for us. And Vern was the one I liked the least out of all of them. You know, we had Tomahawk down there. We had Egami. We had Dijak. All guys before they got started.
Yep.
And Vern wasn't my kind of guy. And I can tell you right now, nothing against the other guys. Vern's my kind of guy. Right. I didn't know it. Vern was, at first, he was just different, and he's got a different personality. But Vern is the most loyal guy that I've met in this business, and he's honest, and he's hardworking, and he's talented, and I can't see any reason that he wouldn't join me.
Yep.
If you're an idiot.
If you watch some of the earlier Knucklebuster promos, Dijak's in the background. I think he was like...
He was a bartender.
Yeah, he was a bartender, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, they roughed him up good, yeah.
Did they?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Something went wrong.
Well, he mixed the drink up. He messed it up.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, you can't.
He was
can't be
those
doing
Yugoslavian
that,
guys, you know?
Yep. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Why don't we go with the woman? Is she a champ right now, Vanity Vixen?
She's no good.
She's no good, huh?
You don't like her?
No, I don't like her at all.
Okay.
She came in, and I took her in off the streets last year. You know, she was laying on the streets doing God knows what, getting paint spilled all over her arms and stuff, and she came in, and she's just as phony as the boobs on her chest.
Wow.
Yeah, she's no good. I took her in, and she turned to me. She hit me right in one of the two things that are down there.
Right.
You know, she hit me with the old bare knuckle burly, if you call it.
Oh,
and yeah,
jeez.
and she turned to me because she wanted to be champion.
Right.
Uncle Eddie could get her the title shot, but now that she won the belt, she decides that she doesn't need Uncle Eddie anymore. That's going to hurt because I have a niece, Adira, who came in, and that's what started the whole Davian stuff because Adira kind of beat her up. She's a new kid, a tough broad, and she came in, and that's the only kind of girl that's going to join the family now. Somebody tough. None of these girls like Vixen. None of them.
Sounds like you're reforming the family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
with
Adira's
real
definitely
people.
up and coming, too.
With real people, not with phony people.
Oh, yeah.
Who
Oh,
are
yeah.
augmented.
Right. Jeez.
I know, it's horrible.
How about Setherin?
Setherin, I don't see much of him because when it's light out, I'm a day guy, and
Right.
he can't go out during the day.
Right.
He worked there the last show. He lost. He's only been in a couple times. I know him. He seems like a good guy. I don't know much about him, you know, because sometimes I wear a cross too.
Right.
So I don't see a lot of Setherin.
So you kind of keep your distance from him.
He keeps it from me because I'm the guy with the cross and stuff, and I'm in the light.
Right.
That hits it wrong, and Setherin's just out of town.
Do you think Setherin could be a potential threat to the family?
Everybody's a potential threat to the family. I don't trust anybody unless they're in.
Got it?
Yeah.
Understand that very much.
I think we'll see more of Setherin, but I don't think he's coming with me.
Okay. Excellent.
What about your niece?
Maximum Mecca.
No.
Mecca?
Was she a niece? I was.
Maximum Mecca, yeah, let's talk about her for a sec.
Okay.
Maximum Mecca showed up. What happened was she actually started the women's division with Belmont. We took the belt, and when Belmont beat Danny, I was commissioner, and I decided to make it a women's championship rather than intergender. And I was commissioner, I was handing the belt to her, and my baby niece, Mecca, comes out and says, Uncle Eddie, remember you promised me I could have a match? I promised her, I don't know, a couple Thanksgivings before or something. I said, well, to get trained, and I didn't realize I hadn't seen her much. And turns out she got trained.
Wow.
And so I gave her a match that night, and she lost, but she did well. And that's when people turned on me because they thought I was just, I happened to be the matchmaker, and there was a girl there, and she was trained, and why not? And
Right.
the fact she was in my family, I don't know. I told Johnny Fabulous there about this. I said, you do whatever you want for your kids and whatnot, and he claimed he wouldn't. But I know he'd wipe John's butt if he asked him to.
Probably.
He absolutely would.
Yeah.
He wouldn't when he was a baby because he was never home. But now he would, now that the guy's got $1 billion.
Right, exactly.
He'd do it now. When he was a baby, he wanted nothing to do with it.
No, I want nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
So, but Mecca came in and did a really good job for us, and she got injured and left. But she was a very talented girl. She's no longer in the business. Very, very good on the microphone and a work in progress in the ring. Very talented. She could capture a crowd, and we worked really well together.
Right.
Well, you brought her up too while you were talking about her, Mistress Belmont.
Belmont, yep.
No good. You know the greenheads in the summer?
Yep.
Horrible.
Blueheads are worse.
Really?
Blueheads are worse. She's no good. She's like her brother. You know, I actually created a division for her. That's how much I thought of her. I handed her a belt. Didn't make her win it. I handed it to her. I said, you're the best. You beat Danny Miles. You're the best. And what did she do? Tortured me.
Wow.
Tortured me for over a year. And then last November, finally, as my nieces were getting hurt and getting run out of town and stuff, it was between myself and Davian, to wrestle her, and I just figured that I was the guy for the job. You know, we had the women's title because Mecca beat her, and then it became family control when Mecca got hurt. So I had this girl, Shania, came up from Florida and wrestled for us. And Davian had an issue because I never let her defend the belt because I was just playing matchups and waiting for the first moment. And,
Right.
And at this time, we have this guy, this big, gigantic person. Now, I don't like anybody that's under 4'9" or over 6'3".
Got it.
If you're between there, you're fine. But I don't like midgets and I don't like giants.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I really don't. And that's absolute truth. I don't like midgets or giants. If anybody's in a normal size, like you got a big range there. You know, we're talking about 5 feet to 6'3".
Right.
That's a big range. If you can't fall in there, that's on you.
Right.
Well, this guy, Mark Green's commissioner, and he decided that I had to defend it if Davian couldn't beat her. So Davian wrestled her, and Davian lost a strap match, and I had to wrestle. And then you talk about up on points.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. Boy, was I up on points.
You did well, I heard.
Oh, yeah, I did really well. And then Davian came out, you know, to support her old uncle.
Right.
I thought. And then I hit Belmont with a big thing, and I kind of got caught up in it. And I went for the Hulk Hogan thing instead of going for the crowd.
Yeah.
I ran the ropes. I was going to drop the big leg. And when I ran the ropes, Davey decided to grab my ankle because she's a jealous, no good girl.
Wow.
And I fell down, and Belmont, the old bluehead, who couldn't beat me face to face, decided to get me from behind and put me in some Cobra clutches type thing. I don't even know what it was. She was behind me, but I know it hurt like a mother.
Wow.
Right.
And that was the end of me.
Must be tough having all these women chase after you and get physical with you, huh?
She's the only one that got physical with me. The other ones, I have protection. She's the only one that got physical, and no, I don't like them like that.
No.
I've never lost in the ring to a man. I beat Derek. We talked about Derek Mitchell. Boy, did I slap him around.
Did you?
Yeah. Wow. Where do you want to go now?
Pick anybody you want.
How about Hunter Ward? He was
The Hampton Beach bad boy?
Yeah, he was a big star for you guys for many, many years.
Yeah. He was a local bred kid who I don't like to talk bad about wrestling crowds.
Right.
But you can run on the same night that they have the Mensa meeting, and you're still going to get your crowd. Yeah. You're not going to lose anybody.
Yeah.
You know? So these people liked Hunter Ward.
Right.
I never thought too much of him at all. And I still don't. They liked him. They liked what he did. And what he did was throw a towel on his shoulder and go out there and act like an idiot.
Yep.
And he beat a couple guys along the way. They liked him. I don't like losers. He lost more than he won. He's a loser.
Fair enough.
How about a guy that just retired also? Kick-ass Kyle Storm.
Kyle was great. I like Kyle. Kyle came down and worked for us. And he came down, and Kyle had a lot of experience. You know, he had wrestling, promoting,
Right.
in all aspects of that. And you get to bring a guy in like that, and a lot of times you're going to think, all right, got to keep our eye on this guy. He used to run his own promotion.
Right.
You know, he's done this, he's done that. He's ran every part of the business, and he came in, and he was just one of the people on our show. And he was also somebody you could send a young guy to for knowledge.
Right.
And he became an asset for us while he was there. A good asset and a solid guy, yeah.
Good leader in the back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good guy to have. No BS. No BS with us, and he did a really good job.
Any company would be happy to have a guy like Kyle Storm.
I would think so, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What about, real quick, did Tony Ulysses just come back to APW?
He was there last year with the Picture Perfect for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
About
great.
Tony, I just saw that somebody posted a really cool video of on YouTube the other day of him and Fabulous Phil Apollo taking on
jeez.
Samoan SWAT team. I don't know if
Really?
you guys had caught that. It was on
didn't
Facebook
know.
and YouTube.
No, the Mox watched that stuff. I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
that's me. I'm a mock. I'll admit.
I've been out to eat with Tony Ulysses.
Yeah.
I've actually been out to lunch
Very talented,
and dinner
man.
with him.
Very
We had to get rid of him.
talented guy.
He was stealing all my Jerry curl. And he went in, I caught him in my bag. And I said, no. So he's
Right?
gone.
He's a great guy to listen to and talk to. And
Yeah.
he's,
Yeah, I
he's
talked to
a
him.
really nice
yeah.
guy.
You want to talk?
Veteran.
I saw him on Bedlam from Boston with
wow.
Ulysses and Grant. They were the tag team champions.
That's great.
And it was good
awesome.
stuff.
That is good stuff.
He was very, very tight with Walter back in the day.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Very,
Yes.
very, very tight. Let's move on. How about Larry Huntley?
Yeah.
He's been with you guys for
Since the beginning, yeah.
since the beginning, right?
Since the beginning. He was there. He may have, I don't know, it was the first show or the second show, but he's been there a lot. Yeah, and Larry's a moron. Keeps coming. He's in the Hunter Ward mode where your people that don't know talent decide that they're going to like this guy.
Yep.
He runs around like a jack. And then
They get behind him.
they get behind him.
Yeah, they
and I
do.
think they like
Yeah, they
John
do.
Denver. I think that's what it is. I think we get a
It
big
might-
John Denver
it might
crowd in
be that.
Newbury.
Yep.
And we're in Salisbury now. We're actually at in Salisbury at the Boys and Girls Club because
Okay.
the city took over rather than the fire hall in Newbury. And, I think it might be easier to deal with an organization rather than a board of selectmen. So I think that's what happened
Right.
there. I'm not sure.
That's great.
But Larry's been around, and our people like him. So he keeps coming back because they like him.
Awesome.
He doesn't come back because he's any good. He comes back because they like him.
Well,
Right.
fair enough.
How about we talked about Evan Six earlier, but how about Brian Fury?
Brian Fury, we had come in. This was good. We had Fury come in, and I don't personally know Fury that well.
Okay.
But I've had contacts with him because some of his guys I wanted to bring in.
Right.
So I said, well, I want to bring him in when they're ready. I don't want them when they're not ready. So I've had contact with him about things like that. I was listening to a podcast, Malonis's podcast,
Yep.
last year when they had Fury come on and announce his retirement.
Yes.
How he's going to be done. And I was too caught up with the women to worry about the men. So I texted Big Woody about 10 minutes after I heard that. I said, you've got to try to get Fury in.
Right.
This is going to be it. Get him in Malonis. I said, I'd bring him in if I were you as an opponent for Malonis. He controlled Malonis' contract, and I thought that would be a good test for Brian.
Right.
For Malonis. So Fury did, in fact, come in, and when I texted Woody, he said, I already did that 5 minutes ago. So that's how great minds
That
think.
is awesome.
You
Yeah.
hear the guys retiring, and just business mind says, all right, we got one crack, let's get him in.
Right.
And he had been on the outskirts and never could match up with us, and then all of a sudden it's like, when push comes to shove, let's get him in here.
Right.
And he came in and he had an outstanding match, and he was outstanding in the locker room. Like I said, I don't know him well, but I know him enough to know that he's a good dude.
I went to 4 of his last 5 matches, and my better half didn't give me a note. When I told her I wanted to go to the last one, I didn't have plans, and she's like, you got to go. Just go.
Yep.
I had to be there for it. No, I've watched Brian since he was Brian Jury. That's how long
Wow.
I've, been a
Yeah.
fan of his. So
Yeah, well, I saw Alex Arion's last match.
yeah.
Everybody says it was Fury's last match, but Arion was way better than him.
Yeah.
I considered Arion's last match, but I get a little
right.
heat for that, but
Yeah.
it's true.
That's awesome.
No, that was good. That was great. Let's see. I'm going to go with somebody that I really don't like.
There you go.
Cam Egami.
Cam Egami has got a beautiful head of hair.
Yeah, he does.
He came in, started when he was first there. He's prettier than hell. And he came in and worked around. He must have just been like a freshman in college, just out of high school at the time. He was young. And he came in with that group, with those group of guys.
Right.
Yep.
And work for us, and he always did a good job for us in the behind the scenes stuff, and in the I don't know why he was working security, because if anybody's afraid of Cam Egami, they're crazy. A 19-year-old Cam Egami.
Right.
Security. I don't know who he's going to hold back. Maybe some 3-year-old girl.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
But he's somebody that hasn't been in for a while. He had an issue with a match with Dijak, and something went down. I don't know what happened. I was calling the match, and then he worked a little bit after that, and we never really matched up with Cam. But if Cam wants to come in, I can make it happen. Right. And I'd like to see Cam again. I bump into him, and I get along with Cam well.
He's all over the place.
I
Yeah,
speak
he
with
is.
him whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather used to say he's like horse crap. He's
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
He was at the Ring of Honor show the other night.
Yeah.
He was.
I
Yeah.
got nothing bad to say about Cam, except I don't like the fact that he has a wonderful head of hair, but he's young.
I think
That'll
he
go.
just cut it off.
Did he?
I think he cut his hair off.
Wow.
Now he's got nothing.
Now, yeah, I was gonna say, what's gonna
that,
happen now?
that would be like Gallagher working without watermelon.
But Pinky Petunia used to wrestle for Jeff Costa.
I don't know who it
Well,
is, yeah.
He's the kid,
I know
Jace
he's a-
Carter,
I know he's a-
trying to
I know
get a
him,
match. I actually won tickets when I went to the show Friday, and I gave
yeah.
them to Jason. He said he'd never been to a Ring of Honor show, and he brought me a
good.
bunch of gifts.
Good for
But
him.
he's always asking me to try to find a promoter to put him in the ring with Cam, but I don't think Cam
I think you
wants
better
any
keep
part
looking.
of it. Yeah,
You better keep looking.
yeah, because I don't think it's going to happen.
Leo, just to clarify this
Yeah.
for the fans watching, you did clarify that he wants to have a wrestling match with
Yes,
Cam.
yeah. Well, it's supposed to be a wrestling match is what he wants.
Okay, well, with a crowd present?
Yeah, he wants his nephew to see him wrestle.
Excellent.
So, and
Well,
I
there you go.
and I actually met his nephew
Yeah,
also.
I'm sure there's plenty of promotions out there that would book Petunia.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. But how about a wild guy, Jack Maverick? You know Jack?
I do. Diamondback Jack Maverick.
Yeah.
He came in. He was a regular for us about 3 years ago. He came in and had a match with Demon Ortiz where they busted the place up. It was crazy because Demon was the good guy. Maverick came in,
Wow.
and some people started cheering Maverick. And Demon, as the good guy, started working the tongue and the eyes at the people who were cheering Maverick as he beat the crap out of Maverick.
Right?
Real school. Real old school stuff, like I'm going to smack this big guy around. And they ended up going through the wall, and the fire hall didn't like it, and we had to go down there and do a little bit of spackle and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Oh, boy.
but I like the guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. You know, the only problem I have with him is whatever team's hot, he'll wear their hat, like he had a Kansas City Royals hat 2 years ago.
He's one of those.
And
huh?
2 years ago he had it, but last year he never wore it once. Other than that, Jack Maverick's a cool guy.
I tagged
I'm
him
not
before. He's
fans
a
of
great
people
guy.
like that either. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know,
He's a good guy.
I respect guys that like the teams, even though like if somebody likes the Yankees, I respect them for liking the Yankees. I don't like the Yankees,
Right.
but I respect the guy for at least sticking with his team.
Exactly.
You know, no pink hats.
Right.
You know.
Oh, yeah, we don't want that.
All right. I want to ask about a guy who I've heard some not so nice things about lately, and he was going to be starting a promotion. I have nothing against the guy at all, but Chris Bartolo.
Chris Bartolo worked interviewing for us. He was also involved in production for VCW, the show in Maine.
Yeah.
When we were doing the thing that Brian, the one first time I saw Brian and the one Poe was at, Big Woody and I were doing commentary from an APW point of view there.
Right.
And Bartolo was running production there at the time.
Yep.
And we didn't have a lot of good things to say about the VCW guys.
Right.
And you can still watch that video now without the crisp commentary of myself and Big Woody,
Yep.
because Chris Bartolo decided that might not be airable
Right.
for their fans. But when a little bit after that simmered down, he came and worked for APW, did a good job, backstage interviewer for us, was always polite. I always got along with the guy. In the mode of you take him as you see him,
Right.
no problems with Chris Bartolo.
Same with me. Same with me.
I have no problems with Chris either.
Okay.
No, I mean, I was around him VCW.
Yeah.
But no, he's faded off. I haven't really seen him. I haven't seen him in a few years.
He was coming back, and then I was going to do some work for him, but then I needed more money, so I got to get another job. So it was not something I just backed out of at the last minute.
Right.
Listen, we're down to like a little over 4 minutes, so I really would like for you to look at the list and talk about who you'd like to talk about.
Okay.
Ball's in your court.
Yep.
I get to talk about any of these guys?
Anybody you want.
Sheik
Oh,
Ab-
they didn't even have to be on the list.
Who would pick Sheik Abdullah Hassan but me?
Who?
Sheik Abdullah Hassan,
Right?
one of my favorites. He used to be known as some guy that Cameron Replay. And then he
Okay.
became Sheik Abdullah Hassan. He worked and he didn't win a lot of matches, but he always let me know when the oil price was going to fluctuate. So that
so you
helped
can
with
make
my
That's not
investment.
bad.
That's
That
nice.
helped with my investment.
That's good to have in
Right.
your pocket.
Jeff Katz.
Yes.
Don't know him well. I know he did broadcasting with Knuckles Nelson down there.
Yep.
Good, solid guy. Good voice. Definitely a radio face.
Yes.
Davienne, we talked about what a jerk she was.
Yep.
Mark Sherman, he's all right. Back in the day when I talked to old Vince, I said, you got all these Italians because you want to draw in Boston and you want to draw in Philly.
Right.
I said, get some Jewish guys for New York. Back then, if Sherman was 25 years older, and old Vince, listened to me, Sherman would have been world champion.
Yep.
Right.
Other than that didn't happen for him. The Sea Stars I love. I think I love their name.
I love
Yeah.
them.
It's great.
Yeah,
we
they're
had to actually kick Ashley in the head when she was my niece for one show.
Really?
Yeah,
boy.
she started saying something, essay or something. I don't know what she said something in Spanish to me that I didn't like.
Right.
It's probably derogatory.
Could have been. It could have been I love you, Uncle, but I don't think so.
You
Not
don't
by the
think?
look on her face.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I think it probably wasn't. Tommaso Ciampa came in and he manhandled me because he's a big bully. Another Italian. I don't like to get See, I'm old wrestling guy, so I talk about,
Right.
those guys, they always talked about race back then. I got nothing against the Italians.
Right.
I hope not, because my girls are
The only good thing about them, though, is they're like dark and stuff, but they got that from the Moors.
I'm still in the room, Eddie.
Wow.
No, I can't go to there from there. I'm gonna go to.
yeah, that would not be good. That wouldn't be good.
I'm gonna go to Donovan Dijak,
Yes.
who may have made his debut at APW. He was certainly close. He was the Yugoslavian nobleman, and he came in, and with a thick Yugoslavian accent, and Yugoslavian gear and a flag and whatnot. And I didn't even know the country was still around. I don't think it was, but I don't think anybody told him.
Right.
But that cat came in, and the first time you saw him, you said, that guy's a star. I watched him at a Ortiz training seminar. He's the only guy whose eyes never left Ortiz. You look like a star, you think like a star, eventually be a star.
Yep.
So I'll say that about him. Now, going up here, we got Wagner Brown.
Yeah.
If you can get Wagner Brown to laugh, you can do whatever the heck you want, because it's the most contagious laugh I've ever heard in my life.
Yep.
If you can get Wagner to get sour, you can kill a room.
He was laughing on him.
But
Believe
if
we
you
had
can
him
get
on.
Wagner to laugh, and I love Wagner, he's one of my favorites. If you can get Wagner to laugh, and that laugh goes bellowing through your locker room, everybody's happy.
Yep.
Right.
You can't beat it, and he's an exceptional talent.
Yeah.
He drinks all of my grape soda, but other than that, he's a great guy, and he's a great worker,
Yes.
and he is funny.
It's been one of my favorites
And
for
he's
a very long time.
If you're going to tell a joke, he's the guy you want selling it.
Right?
That's the guy. Jay Rumble, he's a little tiny guy. I like Jay. He was a midget champion, I think, NWA, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was.
junior heavyweight
Oh, all
champion.
right. E.C. Dillinger,
The late, great
I didn't know
DC.
him. I saw him wrestle a lot. I didn't know him. The same thing with Gorman.
Yep.
And both of those guys, I think, were more talented than the area they were working. Both of those guys could have been national guys.
I
think.
agree.
I
Hated everywhere they went.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's
hated
what I like
everywhere.
about him.
Yeah. Great guys.
And let's go to Lumberjake. He's coming
Yeah.
back. Lumberjake's
coming
coming
back?
back. He is, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we don't. He doesn't demand the handsome discount, so we bring him in. He's not a very good-looking kid. He's big. He's hairy.
Right.
Not too much to look at. Decent wrestler. Nice kid. Weird.
You know, but a good matchup if DC in his prime versus Dijak.
Oh, that would have been a
That would
great
have been
match.
good, but
That
Dijak
would've
would have
a
been
great
2.
match.
Dijak would have been 2 years old. That
Yeah.
would've been-
So that
I
would've
meant
oh,
like
they were
a-
both in the prime.
Yeah, like a dream match.
Oh,
Right.
and the Privitera time machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys,
Listen,
listen,
I don't age, so
Yeah, I want to thank you guys both for coming on. Honestly, Brian,
thank you.
great to have you on
Oh, yeah,
again.
awesome.
Ed, it was great meeting you.
Thanks, nice to meet
It was
you.
probably more
Yeah,
my
Brian, take
pleasure
care.
than yours,
I'm
but
sure it was.
you know, guys, that's it. See you guys next week.
Good night.
Peace.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.